Hello, and welcome to Take Home Pediatrics episode 5 on sleep. This was a series of videos, and this is the last one where we will be discussing our teenagers and sleep, and we'll also be discussing melatonin use. My name is Dr. Bhumi, and remember, this is an informational video, and we are not a medical practice, so if you have any concerns about your child's health, please call your pediatrician. So let's talk about our teenagers and the need for sleep. It is so vital at this age that they get the sleep. They're having creative thinking, analytical thinking, they're critical thinking, they're taking tests, they're writing essays, playing musical instruments. So sleep is very important at this age, and we need to make sure that they're getting enough. Physiologically, their sleep drive is slow, so they're feeling sleepy later. Their melatonin releases later, and so most of our teenagers could actually go to sleep around 11 or 12 at night. And if we would let them, they would actually not get up till 8 or 9 in the morning, and that would give them the 8 to 10 hours sleep that they actually need. The problem is, majority of our high schools are starting at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and so our kids are getting up at 6 a.m. and they go to school and they're at school till 2 or 3 o'clock. Then they're doing after school activities, other extracurricular activities, sports. And then by the time they get home, there's dinner time. And so finally, when they're settled to do their homework, it's already 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And unfortunately, high school homework is 3 to 4 hours long. So we are back at our child not going to sleep till 11 or 12 o'clock. And this creates a cycle in where they're only getting 6 to 7 hours of sleep, so most of our teenagers are sleep deprived. So what happens when our children or our teenagers are sleep deprived? It causes a lot of consequences. Number one is, because there's going to be now a lack of concentration and attention problems, they're going to have to spend more time on their homework, or they're going to have to cram for tests even later and later. So it creates a vicious cycle of them getting less sleep and then having more problems. Second, it increases their risk of obesity and diabetes. It increases their risk of anxiety and depression. It actually affects the development of the frontal lobe. And that's where the control of our impulsive behavior is. So again, our teenagers now are going to be at risk for injuries and accidents because of the impulsive behavior. So what can we do to help our teenagers get enough sleep? Is number one is to make them realize that their day is overscheduled. So we may, as parents, have to sit down with them and help them reschedule their day. Might have to take out 1 or 2 activities so that they can still get everything done and still have space for that 8 to 10 hours of sleep. 2, limit their naps. They tend to want to come home and take a nap if they have an hour or so. The problem becomes that just delays sleep later on at night. Next is limit their caffeine intake, especially in the afternoon. Limit their screens in their bedrooms. Remember, blue light will suppress melatonin secretion. Have them start dimming the lights in the evening, and so that will induce more melatonin secretion. In addition, wearing an eye mask, having blackout panels, wearing earplugs, or even having white noise is going to help them calm down at nighttime. There are also meditation apps that would help, such as Calm. And for those who are prone to like anxious thoughts or depression, Headspace app is also very good. Next, what we want to do is talk about breathing techniques that can actually help our teenagers settle down at night. There is a very popular one that's called Mindful Breathing by Andrew Weil, and it's the 4-7-8. And basically it's 4 seconds breathing in, 7 seconds holding it, and 8 seconds breathing out. And we really only have to do 2 to 3 cycles to feel that calming effect. Next, lavender scent will help. Magnesium supplement, but remember that's a supplement, so please talk to your physician about it. And also foods that are higher in tryptophan will help, especially if taken in the evening. We want to make sure our teenager is getting their regular exercise. So remember, it's that 60 minutes a day that they should be getting. Even if their cell phone or their tablet is off and they're not doing screen time, you really don't want it in their bedroom, because even when it's off, you might hear the buzz or the ping because messages are coming through, and that is still going to disrupt their sleep cycle. So having all that in mind, we need a goal to get our teenagers to get back to enough sleep. So now the second topic I wanted to touch upon is melatonin. Be aware, melatonin is a natural hormone that we secrete, and it does help us fall asleep, and it helps us regulate our circadian rhythm. If we're going to use melatonin as a supplement, we do need to be aware of a few things. First, it is actually a prescription in Australia and in the European Union, so you have to see a physician in order to get that. Two, it is not FDA approved drug in the United States. It is in the category of a food supplement. So it does not have to follow the rules and regulations, and the variation on dosing and absorption is so much that one study showed that there was a 400% variation, which means if you think you're taking a 1 milligram tablet, you might be getting 4 milligrams from it. So we have to be very careful of that. In addition, there are not enough studies around to show the effectiveness of melatonin as a sleep aid or its long-term safety. There have been various smaller studies done that showed, for example, it did help in children with autism and sleep issues, but again, its long-term use still needs more studies. So basically what we're asking you to do is, if you want to use melatonin, please talk to your physician about it. Physicians will use it, like I said, in cases of ADHD and sleep problems, autism and sleep problems, and there's even a condition called delayed sleep phase syndrome. And that's common in teenagers, so we'll touch upon that in just a second. Please be aware that melatonin is not going to replace trying to get into a good sleep hygiene, and it definitely will not overcome bad sleep hygiene. So you want to use it in combination and in short term. So if your physician is going to start melatonin, they will ask you to start at a very, very low dose, and then we'll slowly increase. And in children, we usually do not go more than 3 milligrams. But again, take it under the supervision of your physician. So let's go to the condition we were talking about, and that's the delayed sleep phase syndrome. And in that, it's very common in teenagers, and it's just their sleep is shifted all the way to 1 or 2 a.m. They just cannot fall asleep. So in this situation, we use the melatonin about 4 to 6 hours before their current sleep time. And every 4 to 5 days, we move it up a little bit earlier so we can eventually shift their sleep time to a more normal time. So the take-home advice today is that we know for sure majority of our teenagers have sleep deprivation, so we need to work with our teens in order to get good sleep hygiene. And then second, if we are going to use melatonin, please use it under the advice of a physician and in short-term use only. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon.